Welcome to the lab. If you're new here and you're looking for Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens and all that sort of stuff being rebuilt from wrecked cars, wrong channel. Not going to be here. If you're here for stuff that you can probably do yourself, this is a good channel for you. I was going to call it a dirty old 300ZX, but that's kind of insulting and I didn't mean to. We've got a 300ZX here. It is an old 300ZX. I suppose it is a little bit dirty in places, but no harm, no foul. We're making that more better. See, we got over in the background there's a GTR, and this is our one here. This is a K12 March with 1,000 horsepower in the back. Check out the videos to see that. So, front end here. This is what they call signboard. It's very dirty, isn't it? Look at that. I think it's about 5mm thick or 4mm thick. Very heavy. That whole piece there weighs about 7 kgs or something like that. Very heavy. About 7 kgs. But it's cheap. It's like 70 bucks for a whole sheet of that, and it's really easy to make another one as long as this one isn't totally destroyed. You just get your new sheet, clamp that one over the top, drill through the holes, cut it out, boom, fit it to the car. And put some trim on it and stuff. But we're trying to make things more fancy. More fancier. So, shall I turn those lights off for you? Hold 1 second. Hey, better. See, think about you guys. That is going to be the new splitter for the front there. So we're starting with, what's that, 25mm? 20mm? Yeah, that'd be 20mm extruded polystyrene. And it's shaped. See, it's got that lovely, it's got the right shape on the front there. That will actually make a decent amount of difference for the old aerodynamic flow and all that sort of carry on. But this here, that whole piece there, 700 grams. So there's going to be a bit of an issue with the transition from here to there. I don't want to put this on the front of the car at full thickness. That's, did I say 5? It's probably 4mm thick. This is 20, so we're 16mm lower than what we were before. This already bashes on the ground, putting it on trailers and all that sort of carry on, and it'll screw up the whole alignment all the way through underneath the bottom of the car because it's flat at the moment, and it'll start off a little bit lower. So I've got a bit of a plan. It's going to involve doing the carbon fiber on the other side of this first, on the bottom, and then when that's all set and ready to go, we're going to chop out all this and we're going to taper this down from here down to there, so that then we're only dealing with a few millimeters of, well, probably 1 or 2 millimeters of carbon fiber, and then that'll screw onto the bottom of the front bumper there, just like the other one did. It'll travel through. You see there's another row of screws there. There's a support under there. Hang on. Right there. And that takes the brunt of the weight. And we'll be able to transfer all our loads from all this stuff and things into there via the carbon fiber in between here and here. And we'll just lap that underneath this. We'll cut this off here. Maybe make another one of those because it won't need to be that thick anymore. So we could do that out of 3mm or whatever, or make it maybe another separate piece of carbon fiber. I don't want to make this all one big massive piece because this is going to get trashed. Guarantee it. It's going to get beaten up. If I don't wreck it putting on the trailer, it'll get bumped into something in the pits, or I'll bump into a tyre wall or something. So we're not going full Monty. This is not going to be mega flash. It's going to look nice, but it's not going to be a work of art. Well, depends on your threshold for a work of art. Right, let's get started. 6 o'clock, and we've got that far. It's a bit of a clue, isn't it? Someone on Facebook said, I bet you won't, or wouldn't, or whatever, when I posted a picture of a very large piece of foam sitting in front of the car. And I said, shall we go full send? I bet you won't, but I did. That's actually, it's only about 25-30 mils shorter this way than what was in the image. It's radiused to suit the front of the bumper because, I don't know, it might look better. Yeah, it'll look better. Of course, there's more carbon fiber to come. It's currently, I have cut the ends off, and it's currently longer than what I can actually get the car on the trailer. Maybe at a very, 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 very tight squeeze it might fit. I could measure it and tell you actually, because I know how wide the trailer is and I know how wide that is, and that's about how much room that I have when I drive the car on the trailer to get it wrong. So I'll make the whole thing, do this, the carbon fibre layers all the way to the end here, and then I'm going to cut that off so it's all nice and square and beautiful and there's no issues with the stuff and things getting to the edge of the foam. Then I'll put an end on it, and then I'll make with what's left of the foam, which is over here. That's how much was cut off. That way. So the tyre's 275 or thereabouts, so it's only, let's say 400 cut off there. So we'll do a little 200 mil, that much doofer out the side. Oh, there you go. Not shaped like that, obviously. Well, here, why not? Just stick that on the side when you're at the track, and it'll be awesome. Now it's nicely shaped, just in case anyone thinks I don't know what I'm doing and they're going to make suggestions. Look at that. See, that's actually what you want on the leading edge of your splitter. I'm going to run my finger over that and stab myself with carbon fibre if I'm not careful. The back edge of it isn't shaped. Might taper that off, might just leave it square and put a little doofer on there. You'll see it's notched, recessed, reamed, whatever. It's thinned down where the bumper is, because I don't want it 20 mils thick and then hanging down under the bumper, and I talked about that earlier, I think. 6 o'clock, I can't remember. So all that there is all down to, well, it might be 7 mils or something like that. It's just a stab in the dark with the skill saw and some debauchery. But that'll be good. Right, go inside, cold drink, dinner. So this is, did I describe earlier? Did I explain? These are the offcuts from the other side. It's been cut in half because of the shape of it, right? So when it was cut out from the other side, it was, I guess you'd call it concave. It was shaped like that. So it was way too short in the middle here and way too long on the outsides. So I cut that one piece in half and put the pieces the other way around, and then it was actually sort of close to the shape that we needed. Certainly enough material. There's got a join in the middle there. It's just the base layer. Who cares? It's no big deal. It's not finished, clearly, right? But some people will be like, oh, it looks like crap. It actually looks pretty good, I reckon, for what it is. And aside from the fact you spear yourself on all the little straggly bits that are hanging around, and it's got no caps on the ends or anything, that could be bolted onto the car and it would work. It certainly is, it's pretty rigid. I've forgotten how many layers. How many layers did we put on the other side? There were quite a few. Quite a few layers on the other side. See, I'm doing that one-handed. We're going to smash something? No, that'll do. So the other side, the bottom, is the same sort of deal. It's just, currently, it's just pieces cobbled together to give it the basic strength that it needs and the thickness to deal with me crashing it into the ramps on the trailer and all that sort of stuff. It's had a little bit of a sand. I shouldn't do that because I'll potentially spear my fingers, but that's fine. It's actually pretty good. It's got a nice shape to it. The bonus of doing that side first and then sticking it out in the baking hot sun and letting it do its thing is it actually pulled more shape into the whole thing. I had to put a straight edge on the back of it when I did the first layer on the top side last night to get the back straight, because the whole thing had a nice big curve on it, which is actually good. That's ideal, you know. I would do that deliberately if it wasn't quite hard to achieve. So this whole thing is, hold there 1 second. There we go. This whole thing is curved. Perfect. That's what you want with a wing. You don't want sudden changes. So when that goes on the car, yep, that'll be uphill slightly to the airflow, just ever so slightly. it'll create more negative pressure here than what it will cause positive pressure there, so the overall effect will be down. I showed that with the air gun actually last night. Whether I'll show you that or not, who knows. So we're basically at the point where some tidying up needs to happen. Ideally you'd do the end caps now, cut this off at the right length and wrap some material, 3 or 4 layers say over the ends, and then you'd put your top layer of this over the top of that so it has just a really nice edge on the thing and looks all finished in that. That'd be the ideal, but I'm not going to do that because I haven't really decided exactly what I'm doing with the ends yet anyway, and I'll just deal with the consequences later. Clearly this sort of shenanigans no good, but like I said earlier, this is going to get chopped off. So we got some things to do today, going out getting ice creams and stuff and things, so I'm going to make a start on getting the top layers on. I'll start on the top, make that look nice, try and leave it in one piece and see if we can get this curve out of it without it turning to custard. It doesn't matter if we've got joins and stuff on the bottom because it's, like I say, it's going to get beaten up, and then we'll be doing some patches on it later on to repair it. I'm not going to run tungsten or anything on the corners and all that sort of stuff to try and protect it. It shouldn't be hitting the ground that often when it's on the track anyway, so what's the point in carrying large weights around in something that you're trying to make as light as possible and disturbing the airflow and all that sort of carry on. I know people do it, but I don't think that's the right philosophy. All right, I've skipped a couple of steps. You guys have missed some jibber jabber. Basically trimmed off the back edge and sort of cut the sides down. It's going to give me 10 millimeters on each side to get it on the trailer. So that's not going to work. That will get destroyed. So either cut that down or modify the trailer. It might be modify the trailer, but also thinking about it, to get that on the dyno, that may foul on the dyno machine. So it would involve taking that off to put it on that, but looks pretty badass, doesn't it? It's attached. I've got 3 screws on here at the moment and a couple at the attachment point there, the next one back. It is going to need something better than what the original one had. This is a lot more rigid, a lot less forgiving than the thing that's outside the environment out there. And this will work better. It will create more downforce, so it's going to give the original attaching system absolute hell, and it'll probably fail. The front bumper actually was part of, or still will be, part of the structure that holds the splitter. It's all carbon fibre lower, and then it comes up and it's attached to the front fenders, and of course that's all attached to there and all that, so it kind of transfers all the loads up there and onto there, and that's what's helping hold that. We won't be able to write. I can't spit my words out today. We won't be able to rely on that as much now because this is going to do more. So there'll be some more brackets and stuff and things. Weight, at the moment that was 3 kgs or just shy of 3 kgs before I trimmed some sections out of it, trimmed off the back edge there, see, and chopped those pieces out, sanded off a little excess resin and all that. Sounds heavy, right? Nearly 3 kgs for that. That piece of signboard there, which looks huge when it's on the bench there, is less than half of the total surface area that we're dealing with here, and that's 2 kgs. So if you go 2 times that, that's 4 kgs, and we're not even at the full amount of the surface area that we're dealing with. And I'll do these, we've done this front piece here, right? I'll do those bits at the back there, and it'll take the same sort of weight out. So we should be, I don't know, 4 kgs lighter or something like that. So that gives us heaps of scope for making some nice big strong brackets to hold all this and still actually have the car lighter. It'll look better, it'll work better, and it'll be lighter. So yay. There we go. Some big chunky brackets. We can all argue over whether those will work or not after I've tested it and proven they most likely will. Without any hardware actually done up, that instantly adds a lot of rigidity to it, and being that they're on a slight angle rather than what do we say it is, at 90 degrees to the center line of the chassis, so they've got a little bit of dihedral, is that the word? It effectively makes the thing stronger, as if the pivot point's out here somewhere, but with no bolts done up, you can see the gap opening up there. That's, you know, if you support that piece there, then this bit out here is going to be a lot better. I could test it. I could probably put some nuts on those and actually stand on it without even putting the rest of the hardware in, but I don't really want to run the risk of being wrong and breaking it right now. Might have to go and get some material to do the rest of that stuff out the back there. If I make that nice and rigid as well, the extension that comes through all the way back to here, if we tie that in somehow to the stuff at the front, it also stops with that ability to twist that down, because it has to bend this area through here. If we make that really strong, it won't be able to, and it'll work. That's how the original one worked anyway. Rightio. That's huge. 2.8 something kgs. Scope creep. Oh, I don't know what that word is. Never heard of it. No idea what you're talking about. Let's turn those lights off, or someone will complain about the flickering. Hey, fixed it for you. So there's the old one, and we've gone to about that line kind of there where it starts getting dirty. We've done that front piece there, and then I was kind of sort of thinking about how I was going to do the rest, because it wasn't really worth doing it in carbon fibre, I thought. And then I decided it was. So nice flat enough sheet, clean enough for what we're doing. Releasing compound on there, shape cut out, well, traced out roughly where we need to be. Whole heap of crap ready to go, and we're going to laminate that lot onto the bottom of that as we stick it together, and then stick some foam on top of it and pull it all up, and then I have to trim the foam to the right thickness and the right shape and all that sort of stuff when it's set. So this should be fun. I'd ideally do it all in one big hit, but it's pretty warm and the resin goes off very, very quickly in the pot, so that'll be a challenge. But I'll give it a crack, see what happens. She's a pretty big unit. Pretty big unit. So, do you reckon it worked? Do you reckon it's a giveaway there, isn't he? Yeah, that worked mint. That's come away from the mold, no dramas. I mean, this thing it is light. Look at that. So, I haven't weighed that. That was just shy of 3 kgs to basically the edge of where I've added some. That's probably put 700 grams or something on with that. And this all needs to be trimmed down. I just figured it was easier to deal with thicker foam that would keep it straighter and flatter and spread loads out and do a nicer job, and then trim the foam down to the right thickness. I want to taper this from it's about 10 mil thickness here, down to basically nothing back here. This will require some, actually it's pretty strong, will require a bit more at the back here where the final screws go at the very back. So there's a couple of screw holes right there. But pretty happy with that. I'll flick this over and show you something. So before I put the releasing compound onto this steel sheet here, I've drawn some lines, some guidelines of where the edge of the part will end up being. Probably just scratching that part quite nicely doing that, aren't I? With the added bonus of it bleeds through the releasing agent and actually leaves a line on your finished product. So if you can trim those bits off, that's awesome. If you're not going to trim those bits off, don't draw with Vivid and then put the releasing agent over it, because it bleeds through into this. That's there for I don't know if you can sand that off or not. So that's actually a pretty good result, considering it's just a wet lay. There's no vacuum bagging or any fanciness like that. I'm trying to get my cord caught up on everything here. The transition from there to there is pretty mud. It looks pretty terrible. I don't actually care about that too much. I will be basically putting a line with some masking tape, and I'll be sanding the transition to try and make it look nice. It's under the car, you won't see it, and as long as it's bonding nicely, and I'm not going to run my fingers over there because I'll regret that. It'll cut me like a knife. But that's good enough. And as you can see, there's an excess of material that needs to be cut out for our little hatch that goes in here, panel, whatever. And there's a whole crap load that needs to be cut off the sides. I was originally going to put that over the top as a template, but bonus, we don't have to do that. We can just cut this out now. Not sure if that's looking like a car part or an airplane part, but anyway, the weather sucks, and I've made a wee mistake based around the weather. I wanted to use fast hardener, and I picked up the slow hardener, and now this is going to take a long time to go off. Never mind. So you only saw as far as I hadn't cut it out. Yep, so I cut out around the edges. That's done. And I made up some foam pieces. Oh, those bits were on there, weren't they? That bit wasn't on the end there. See there, I had to do a little bit of an extendy. Oh, be a little grizzled about that, but whatever. Shaped the ones that were on there. Shaped the bit there as well. Carbon fibre on there. Lots more carbon fibre here because there's some screws at the end. These are just scraps, and I'm quite happy just to layer them on. Just doesn't matter. I'll chamfer it all off nicely and make it look pretty later, but it's fine. I've actually only got about 1 metre of carbon left. Hence I'm using a little bit of fiberglass in a few places. It's a tiny little bit heavier and not quite as strong, basically. Not as stiff. That's fine for a couple of layers on here to build it up, and then I'll just 1, maybe 2 layers of carbon over the top, purely for looks, just so while you guys are looking at the video going, oh, didn't he do a fantastic job of that, it'll look nice. Other than that, it's not really any benefit. I could literally just spray bomb over the top of that in black and it would be totally fine, except there's fuel and stuff in the front of the car. If I spill any fuel, it'll wash off the paint, and nah, let's do it properly. Poor man properly. Let's do the carbon on there. By fluke, I've managed to line up those. Oh, you can't even see it. Oh, there you go. Look, I happen to get the weave all lined up. Just pure fluke, but that's right. Looks good. No one will see that. So, right here, lunchtime. Looking pretty awesome. I know you want to see the other side, don't you? This side came out. It's all right. It's pretty good. There's some defects in it. Actually, there's a wobble in the weave right there, but that's underneath. We don't care. Nice and hard. Extremely light. That whole assembly, which is almost ready to go on the car. No, I've got to do a bit of sealing up around the edges and stuff and make some end plates. There needs to be a little panel goes in here. Other than that, some countersinking with some holes and it's good to go. We've got some real aircraft parts. Genuine, that's the number there. If you want some. They're called Tinnerman washers. And so what you do with those, that spreads the load out on composites and things like that when you want to put countersunk screws. So you put the Tinnerman washer in there. You actually countersink it properly. It's not quite all the way yet. That might be a better one. No, that's worse. That'll do. That's our example. And then, ta-da! And when that's done properly, that'll be awesomeness. And I could even potentially bond those washers to the thing, and then they become permanent. A lot of people will say that I should have a crush tube in here, but you're not going to crush it with 6mm nuts. That's bolts rather. That's not going to be an issue. Right, you want to see the other side. There you go. There was just, like literally just enough carbon fibre to cover these up, and that's really strong now. That's really good. Unfortunately, it's a little bit pushing our luck with the there to there sort of thing. If you know what I mean. If you know, you know. If you don't, it doesn't matter. So it's got obviously those really big brackets at the front there, which I suppose you probably could bend them if you pushed on it hard enough or stressed on it hard enough. Then it's supported by that. And then this is basically a cantilever system supported by those panels and stuff. I'll put a return on the back of that so it can't bend and allow this to lift up. So if this can't go up and down here, because it's all supported, and it's supported back here too, right? So if that can't go up and down there, and this can't bend, and that can't go down, and that can't go down, we should be pretty good with this. Because this is bloody strong. Hang on one second. This is going to be an extremely rough test on it, because that's putting a crap load of load right on that very sharp edge there. That's offcut from either that side or that side, one or the other, but I'm pulling pretty damn hard. It is just going to dent it right there. A fairer test is, better watch I don't tip the whole bench over trying to. You can see my horn changing colour and my voice changing, and that's not bent at all. It didn't give up. So we should be pretty right, given that for this to bend, you've got that's a huge distance. It's over 1.6 meters from there to here. The whole thing's about 1.9 something. So, and it's very, very, very light. Whole thing, finger and thumb, pick it up. So that is, like, you can bolt that onto the car right now, but we'll do the painting stuff, and I'll make up some end plates, or at least some attaching points for some end plates. I was thinking about doing an extension to do little fairy wings, I call them. Canards or whatever you want to call them out the front here, but no, let's not bother. We don't need them, I don't think. Right, ignore him, he's lying. It is dinner time. Stuff and things to deal with outside of the workshop, so gotta go. I'll bang this up for you later on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that sort of carry on. Let's see if we can, what's the target before Christmas? 5,200 subscribers. We're at 5,065 or something. Let's see if we can do that. All right, cheers, boy.